I can't afford to not record. It's recorded. Hey, Tweety still playing the game.
He trying to hide this. I seen it really. He trying to
I
hide
don't.
the
I ain't
truth.
hiding. Bro. Here it is, right here. I'm not hiding, bro. I did this. I do this like every week, bro. Like, come on.
That's why your little fast.
Hey, come on, bro. You just spent an hour talking about other shit and you worry about me playing the game. Like, come on, bro.
We wasn't recording.
Come on, bro.
If people was listening,
LJ, let me ask you a question. If you wouldn't have said that, would anybody would have known I was playing the game?
yeah, he knew.
Me?
Now,
I ain't talking about you. Y'all know me.
the one who said it.
I'm talking about y'all. Bro, you ain't the one watching it. You're recording it. You're posting it. You're not watching it. I'm not trying to appeal to you.
We the hostile.
All right, let's go.
Golly, bro.
Hey, you remember the angry black man from Martin?
Shit,
I'm saying, bro, you can't talk. You can't waste the whole hour. You can't waste the whole hour talking about something and then talk about me playing the game, bro. Like, come on. We gonna record the show or no?
Come on, man.
It's already recorded.
But then let's go. Host.
Not the host, guy.
Oh shit.
What's the name of the show? The Sports Crew? That's the name of it?
Oh my god.
That's the name of it? Tweety, how you doing today? Hostile, brother.
I'm not hostile, bro. I wish you would come on with it, bro. Like,
Where you going? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, bro. Like, I'm great. I'm great. Like, I'm good.
Is there a different way you want me to start it, Tweety?
I mean, we could have been done started it, but you know, I mean, yeah. And if you want to go by, we could have started it at 3:00. Like, we could have did that.
Nah,
Like, you want to talk about it?
the time you complaining, we could already been going in the topic. What you want to do? You want to complain or you
I
want?
don't even want to go there, bro. But I'm doing just fine. I hope everybody having a good day. Let's go.
Can't record. When you go to
Don't tell me what we could have been doing with the time I was talking. Really? Like, really?
What up, man? What's the first topic?
I don't know. Tweety, get it off. Tweety, go ahead. Get your shit off.
Man, like, let's go. Why you?
We
Bro,
waiting.
y'all have a good one, bro. I'm out. Y'all have a good one, bro.
Golly. You go to him and then he get up. I'm like, okay, we're gonna record it. You gonna keep talking about why we should have been recording an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Greg, what's happening, man? How you doing today, my brother?
Hey, black, you know, trying to stay alive, man. You know how it is.
Lord.
Malcolm, what's a good word in the city?
I ain't in no city. I couldn't tell you. I'm in the country.
Oh my Malcolm, that's like
I know what you meant, dog. Like,
inner city. How are you doing today? This is a new episode. I don't know what episode number we on, like 3, 4, 5, something like that. I can't remember. My brain doesn't function properly. Welcome to the Sports Crew. Tweety Wells here. He has somewhere to go. I guess that's gonna be us rocking out today. Hopefully, maybe Tweety could come back and join us when he finish doing what he's doing. Anyways, man, it's kind of been a slow week in sports. Not a whole lot going on. More like issues not related to like what's going on the competition field and more stuff off. Y'all see that guy from the state of Texas, from Texas Tech University, where I graduated from, with that big check. Pat Mahomes.
I was gonna say what? I didn't know where you was going with that. I was like, I thought you was about to start talking about something else. But nah, did they ever come out and say how much was guaranteed?
I know 60, he got 63 million the day of.
So yeah, the 63 million signing bonus was what, 450? 450 was the total amount of the contract, 10 years.
10, and then the other guaranteed sign.
Do y'all think? All right, so he deserved it. I'm not gonna say he don't. I guess I'm a kind of play devil's advocate a little bit. Do y'all think Kansas City was right for doing it. I'm not saying they wasn't, but this is why I say, like, if you go look for the past, I would say 10 Super Bowls, the quarterback that has won the Super Bowl wasn't like 6 out of the last 10, probably 7, wasn't very elite at the time that they won it. Now their names are elite, but their play wasn't elite. You got Nick Foles, he won it with the Eagles. You had Peyton Manning when he was with the Broncos. You had Joe Flacco.
Nick
What'd you
Foles.
say?
Nick Foles' play. You said his play in the playoffs was not elite.
No, I'm saying like they wasn't considered elite quarterbacks at the time that they won it. Is what I'm saying.
I give you that.
So you had Peyton Manning when he was with the Broncos, Nick Foles, Russell Wilson when he won a long time ago when he beat Peyton Manning the first time. He wasn't considered. It was more so their defense that got all the hype. Joe Flacco, and then you had Aaron Rodgers. He was elite. Drew Brees. He was elite.
You're missing a lot of those years now where Tom Brady was elite in the Patriots.
No, I said I'm starting to name. You can. I said Drew Brees. You can put one of those years, maybe. Yeah, probably just one of those years that Tom when they beat the Rams, he wasn't playing that well. And then the other years that they had the elite quarterbacks was 2 years with Tom Brady, 1 year with Aaron Rodgers, and 1 year with Drew Brees. That's it, essentially.
Wait, so you saying the Patriots have won 6 Super Bowls and Tom Brady was only elite in one of those Super Bowls?
No, wasn't elite in one of them.
Okay. So that's like most of the last 10
I said last 10 years you got Tom Brady with 2.
Man,
Tom Brady with 2, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Flacco, Drew Brees, Peyton Manning. I'm sorry, Tom Brady with 3.
but what age
And
were
Nick
they?
Foles.
Oh, too, though. You gotta look at age. A lot of this has to do with age.
What difference does it matter when they won a Super at the age they won a Super Bowl? I'm just saying the teams that's won it, their quarterback wasn't necessarily playing at an elite level. So do you think?
I'm thinking about it in regard to the contract. You know what I'm saying? And the initial question is why the contract, what are your thoughts about the contract? Well, I think the contract is enormous.
Because it can hinder them. It can hinder them for the rest, like the rest of their team is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree. It's definitely gonna be damaging to the dang on salary cap, but I don't know. When I look at it, it looks like a lot of it is backloaded. So I know you got 63 years signing because his base is like $2.5 million all the way up
This
until
year?
year 26, all the way up to 2026. You know
Two
what
and
I'm
a
saying?
half or 20 and a half?
2.5.
Oh,
Goes up to 3 million in 2027. Then 13. Then I'm looking at spot track. Then 20 and 27 million. His last year was 38 million. So,
gotcha.
as I'm saying, a lot of it looks like it's backloaded. So, in that aspect, I've heard people have different opinions. Some people actually think it was a bad deal for him because of the length of years.
I would say you can make that case, yeah.
And then to the structure of quarterback contracts inevitably will change as the CBA changes, so kind of like, all right, he might actually got short end of the stick and he could have got more money. You know what
Does
I'm
he have
saying?
any opt-out years or anything like that?
I'm not sure. I don't think he can opt out.
I don't. Do they even do contracts like that in the NFL where they have player options? I know the team got.
It's probably rare. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it is rare if they can. But I'm sure they can, but it's I know it's rare. But yeah, 63 million guaranteed at signing. And let's see.
So, are you looking at just his, or are you looking at the whole team?
No, I'm just looking at his, but on spot.
Because I was curious. I think Kelsey just got paid, so I'm trying to think of the players they would have to pay. I know Kelsey just got paid. I know Tyrann Mathieu just got paid because he just got there. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Tyreek Hill's gotten paid. I know Chris Jones hadn't got paid because he's trying to get a contract now.
I think at the skill positions, they probably gonna rely on what's the young kid's name, Hardman. Like some of the receivers gonna go. You know what I'm saying? He's cheap.
Probably
now.
Sammy Watkins, like people like
right,
that.
Right. They're gonna rely on the kid out of LSU, the running back. He's cheap. He's the first round pick. He's cheap now. You know what I'm saying? So he cut So I think they'll fit it in that way. I would be more intrigued to know what's going on in the offensive line though, because he's gonna need that. Period. You
I
know what I'm
think they
saying?
offensive line was like rated, like you know how they rate them as a group. I think they were in the top 5, I believe, if I remember correctly.
What their contracts looking like that? Are they
Well, you got Schwartz. Schwartz is he's getting paid big money. What's the kid with 2 different names, doing it for something? I don't think he's getting paid that much. And
yeah,
then I feel like they have is Eric Fisher still there? Not sure.
I probably
Um,
left tackle. I think he was still there. But
so
it's
I don't
definitely
know.
gonna take creative management for sure. It's gonna take
Yeah.
creative. You're giving yourself a bit of a headache, but at the same time, I understand why they did it. Like I said, because he's the top of the food chain right now. He's super young. You got to
So
make sure it's happening.
and did he had what he this was his 3rd year in the league. Sat his 1st year, played last year,
Right.
played, and
Yep.
then this year.
Yep.
So this is his 3rd going to his 4th. So he still had what 2 years left on his contract
Yep. And
because they
so
could have did a fit. They could have did the 5th year after
that's
because
why
he was a 1st-round pick.
this new contract really is a $450 million contract for 2 years, 10 years. Those 10 years are added after the 2 years. You know what I'm
Oh,
saying?
is it?
Yeah. So he
Damn,
actually had 12 more years basically with the Chiefs.
that's ridiculous. But I don't know. I think kudos to him, kudos to the Chiefs. I just don't know if it was too early or if it's gonna hinder them. I mean, I guess what is the expectation now? Does he have like Brady-esque expectations?
I don't
So
know.
let's say throughout this contract he don't win another Super Bowl. Was it worth it or not?
Yeah. That's a good question because he's getting paid after the Super Bowl, right? It's not like
I mean, so
paid him
I think
anyway. Right? Then you say, yeah, he earned that contract. We won Super Bowl. He had already won it, and you're paying him after the fact.
yeah. So
Um,
I guess even a more interesting question would be if I know if it was the 5th where I'll be drunk. But if Jimmy Garoppolo makes that throw to Emmanuel Sanders and that essentially seals the game for San Francisco, does Patrick Mahomes still get this contract?
I think so.
Because he didn't until like the last 8 minutes of the game, he wasn't playing. He had already threw 2 picks. He wasn't playing that well.
But he was already MVP last season. We've been talking about this contract, right? We've been talking about it even in the aspect of the Dak Prescott contract. We've been talking about Mahomes getting paid for quite a while. We knew it was going to be big, so I think the splash is going to happen regardless, just because of where he's at in stature and quarterbacks in the league. Like I
Yeah.
say, and he's still
But do
only
you think he would have got it at this moment in time if they didn't win, or would it have been later on down the road?
I think
Because
they
it's easier to give it to him now because now you can justify it saying, hey, he won a Super Bowl, blah 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 blah. Same thing with Lamar Jackson. So they're saying should the Ravens pay Lamar Jackson, right? And,
right.
and if he had better playoff appearances, it wouldn't even be a question that they should play him.
Jackson wasn't in the same class with Mahomes, was he? Or he was?
Mm,
Was he? Was he LJ? Do you know?
no, he was year after.
He
Year after.
sat behind Flacco, right? And he overtook
But he
Flacco.
played the same year. He played the same year. So it
Yeah.
was
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, I think the trend is going to be for these guys to start getting paid sooner than later. It
do you
happened
think
with Ezekiel Elliott. You know what I'm saying? They,
mm.
for certain players, I think especially for Mahomes, like, because you just what are you going to franchise him?
No,
If he's
I'm not saying wait to the 11th hour. I'm just saying he had 2
traditional,
years left. So do you wait till the last year of his contract to lock him up? Like if he didn't win or what?
traditionally you do it when they have a year left, right? And just go ahead and take care of it. That's what I'm saying. I think that trend is going to start to change. They're going to start doing these contracts a little bit sooner, a little bit earlier. I'm not surprised by it, despite if you the one that lost the Super Bowl, even the same way, because even though they say they had lost, he was playing really well, the whole rest of the time. The rest of the playoffs, he played really well. He played well during the season. So, just imagine it's just the biggest game of your life and you don't play so well. It's not, it's different than, sucking it up for the whole season. It's, well, it's a big game, but it is, in
I
fact, one
mean, we
game.
seen people get paid off that game. We seen people.
That's true. Joe Flacco. Joe
Joe
Flacco.
Flacco. Yeah, and he ain't did nothing since. So I don't know. I just I think they're a talented team. That's why I'm saying. So it's kind of hard to say, you know, whether he will, if he can carry a team by himself. Because I would say they're probably one of the most talented teams in the league. So, but and then he has Andy Reid. Like Andy Reid's been coaching offenses for generations. Like I've never known an Andy Reid team not to have a good offense. So,
Right.
you saw what he did with Alex Smith. He turned Alex Smith was doing okay in San Francisco, but he turned him into like a big play guy. I would say that was always Alex Smith's problem. He was kind of scared to take the big shots downfield, and he kind of put him into that situation a little bit.
Well, I don't know. You figure, I mean, you never know. Andy Reid, I don't know his age, but this contract that outlast him. You saying that maybe if he's with another coach, are you saying that maybe he's had a lot of good fortune with coach and roster, and you don't know if he's necessarily worth it as an individual player?
No, I'm just playing devil's advocate a little bit. But I'm saying I will say he was fortunate to go to the team he went to. Yeah, absolutely. But that's a lot of people's success. I mean, you can pin that on Tom Brady. If he gets drafted in the 6th round again by Cincinnati, do you think we know who Tom Brady is today? Probably not.
I mean,
So a lot.
I don't know if LJ posed a question about. I mean, somebody talking, either you or him, talking about expectation. For the franchise. I mean, shit, they hadn't won a Super Bowl since what, 1960 something?
Yeah, it's been a minute.
They might be still fat and full. They don't have the drive of Bill Belichick in New England. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
I'm not saying he don't deserve it. I'm not saying the Chiefs shouldn't have gave it to him. I'm just just thinking, what if, basically. So
Right.
it could be anything, man. But I hope they I ain't gonna say I hope they do well because I hope the Vikings win, obviously. But so
At the end of the day, do y'all think it was a good contract or a bad contract? Because I don't think either one of y'all really answered it. Or maybe you did, Greg. I'm not sure. I don't.
I wasn't committal. I would just say I think it was a good contract. He had to do it. I know it's a potential to get you in a bit of a snag financially wise, but like I pinpointed earlier with the skill players that they do have, the young guys, you kind of alleviate that. You be creative. You still got your guy. You still happy. You still selling out. You still got everybody wearing 13 jerseys. Number 13, right? Everybody wearing Mahomes
15,
jerseys.
ain't it? 15.
Well,
I'm not gonna answer that question because I don't know enough about the contract to say whether it was good or bad. And who are you saying it for? Like, are you saying it for Mahomes or are you saying it for the Chiefs?
However you want to answer the question.
Oh, well, I'm not gonna answer for either one, but I'm just curious which way you want to know. But because I don't know, like if it's like Greg said, you said it was backloaded or something like that. I don't know how much the CBA is gonna inflate. Like the salary cap is gonna inflate over the years. So by the time we get to year 7 for Mahomes, he may be getting paid top 10-ish money, top 15 money. You don't know.
You think it's a bad deal? That's what you sound like.
I'm just saying I don't know, dog, because I can't project what the future cap gonna look like. If he's still top 5 getting paid like that in 5-6 years, then yeah, it was a good deal for him. If he's not, then he ain't. So unless they have some clauses in there where they can redo it, I don't know. Yeah. Probably not. I just gave him mine, so there you go. But
I think if
I give you an opinion right now. They ain't gonna win another Super Bowl.
I think if you say I'm not going to
write it in the marker.
Opposite of giving your opinion, but
write it down with a marker. They ain't gonna win another Super Bowl.
I'm just a guy. You know they have dry erase markers.
Write it with a permanent marker. I don't care. Write it down. Take a picture. I don't give a. You know the rest of it.
So sticking to the NFL, the Eagles wide receiver DeSean Jackson, he caught a lot of flack for. Actually, it wasn't even really a statement that he made per se. It was something posted. I think it was on his Twitter account. I can't remember off the top of my head. It was on social media. We'll just say.
He was out here YouTubing Dr. Umar Johnson. That's what he's out here. That's what he's out there doing.
A statement that he reposted on one of his social media accounts related to Jewish people and some things. He attributed the quote wrongly to Adolf Hitler. Greg, what do you agree with DeSean Jackson's apology, and what do you think about the Eagles' response to what?
I don't agree with DeSean Jackson in no way, shape, form, or fashion. What a homeboy say, man, he up there listening to them the black Hebrew Israelites up there in Philly too much, man. nothing against them brothers. But yeah, DeSean Jackson, man, he I don't know. Here's the thing. It's really it's too sensitive of a time right now to just be hitting sin, man. Your brain needs to compute and needs to swirl around for about a good 30 to 45 seconds at least before you just hit send or hit submit, man. So I don't know what he was going through. I don't know who the quote is attributable to. I'm trying to look it up right now and see exactly what he said.
He's
to Hitler.
Yeah, but I think it's been pretty much debunked that Hitler didn't say it. Like, is according to this.
Yeah, and see that's another thing too, man. Folks just be retweeting and passing and stuff. I be like, there's somebody 75-year-old auntie on Facebook, man, just passing stuff on you, man. Wrong with DeSean Jackson, bro. But I think going to the Holocaust Museum, so.
Yeah, I seen it yesterday. He posted something about he got to talk to a 84-year-old Holocaust survivor or something like that. So I guess it's in the room. So I guess that's his way of saying he's trying to understand what he said. But what point was he trying to make? Like I still ain't figured that out. Like, do anyone of y'all know?
No, I don't understand.
I know what point he was trying to make. He basically said he was just trying to point out some things about slavery and uplift Black people in America. And
so why you got to put down the Jews at the same time?
I'm looking at this post, and he got this highlighter in this quote.
Yeah, I seen that. I saw what he said.
He said because the white Jews knows that the Negroes are the real children of Israel, and to keep America's secrets, the Jews will blackmail America. The will extort, the will extort. That don't even make no sense. Like I don't know where you reading this from, bro. What kind of book you reading? The will extort America.
It's called Jerusalem. The book he's reading is called Jerusalem.
He needs to stop, bro. They're playing for world domination. Won't work here if the Negro knows who they were. The white citizens of America will be terrified to know that all this time they've been mistreating and discriminating and lynching the children of Israel. It's exhausting, bro.
Yeah,
I had a few Facebook exchanges with some folks earlier this week, man. In the legal profession, and it's just real nasty. Like I say, man, it's a real sensitive time. Folks to just be spouting and spewing and saying anything. Like sometimes it's better left unsaid. Just keep it in your brain. You know what I'm saying? Like don't even have a brain for it. Like don't even have no evidence that you really an idiot. You know, this whole trying to outsuffer somebody else with the Black and the Israel relation, it's dumb, man. You know, and I was saying that because it was actually I spoke with the guy who's Jewish. He made a few statements, you know, online in this lawyer group that I'm in. I'm kind of like, man, how stupid is that? Man, you sound real dumb right now. Like, oh, we suffered more than you. Like, man, get out of here. So I don't know what DeSean Jackson was trying to say. I don't know who he's trying to uplift. If he's trying to uplift anybody. The owner for the Eagles, he's a Jewish man, huh? Laurie?
Jeff Lurie, I don't know. I don't know what he is.
I want to say the general manager is for sure Jewish.
Harry
Okay.
Roseman?
I'm not sure about. I don't know who the general manager is.
Okay. And I like I said, I apologize. I'm not trying to be insensitive and assume people are, but he in Philadelphia, man. I'm pretty sure there's a large contingency of Jewish people there. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is this trying to unify or even strengthen the black cause if that's what you're trying to do? So I don't know. It just seems like he just don't have it all together mentally. I know there's a big push. Yeah, I see a lot of people going about, oh, well, look at how what's the white receiver's name? Riley Cooper.
Riley
Right?
Cooper.
Yeah.
He was ready at the country concert. He'll
Oh,
fight
yeah.
everyone up in there.
At the Kenny Chesney concert, he called all kinds of people. Man.
And he know it wasn't nothing but 2 black people in there. He was acting like he
Yeah.
was ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, so people are saying, oh, well, how he was treated, he got a contract after that, blah, blah, blah. I mean, the thing is, if DeSean Jackson, and I thought he was going to get cut. I'm actually surprised he's still with the team right now. Just because he's a little long in the tooth. And I mean, this is not DeSean Jackson from 10 years ago, so somewhat expendable, I
Still
think.
got speed.
Yeah, but he not no one receiver. He not somebody they relying on.
Hell, have you seen their receiving core? They ain't got too many over there.
What was he doing? Like when he on the team last year?
Yeah, he got hurt. He was
Okay.
like he got hurt like the second, third game. He balled that first game, but it was against the Redskins. But
Right.
I think the problem is, bro, everybody just want to say something today. So they go try to find something to say if they don't know what to say. and half the time it don't come out like they trying to make it come out.
Real guy, you
But
being
that's the
quiet.
problem.
Can't be quiet. Can't nobody be quiet. We can't be
Nope.
thinkers. We just gotta.
Everybody gotta have something to say. Everybody gotta have a topic on the conversation. So that's part of the problem. Nobody wants to just sit there and listen and then try to decipher information that's given to you and then react. Everybody want to pop off at the mouth and say something.
If he even reached out to a Jewish person or tried to gain some understanding, because clearly by the typo
He did.
beforehand, before he made this statement.
Before? Yeah, I mean, now, what sense does that make, Greg? Come on. It take too long.
It makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Make all kind of accusations. At least show you done some research. Some folks is arguing not even attributable to Hitler with typos. Like, what is this dude doing, bro? Like, what's going on, man? Like,
that's like me going. It's like me calling myself a chef and I ain't took no cooking classes. You know what I'm saying? What sense does it make?
Yeah. So, like I say, I don't know what his intent was. He definitely caused a firestorm.
His intent was to be heard. That's what his intent. When he got what he wanted.
Yeah.
Then he realized he fucked up. So.
Right. Out here apologizing. What y'all think about Steven Jackson doubling down, supporting?
Has
Steven Jackson commented on the apology?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna hit with DeSean Jackson. I mean, I just in general terms, I feel like anything when it comes to like Jewish people and trying to, and I'm not Jewish. I have never asked anybody if they were Jewish, so I've made no Jewish people. I have no idea. I've never. It's not I don't ask people like that kind of question.
Right.
But I don't think. I think he just whatever he was trying to accomplish. When you try to mention Hitler and Jewish, it just seems like a recipe for disaster. Like when you're trying to make a positive point and you mention Hitler and Jewish people, it just seems like it's starting off at the ground and it's just going to go further downhill. It just don't seem like a good starting point. And based on what he was saying, the point he was trying to make, I still haven't really wrapped my head around how that quote.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know what
connects with what he said he was trying to say. Like, I don't feel like how that quote would I'm not even sure how he would register that would like uplift anybody.
What did he say he was trying to say?
He said he was trying to enlighten people and uplift black people related to slavery and all that. It doesn't make
It sounds like some antichrist stuff is what he was trying to. I don't know.
No, that's not what he said.
No, I'm saying. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying he said he was trying to uplift black people and enlighten them about slavery and finances and stuff like that. And I'm just saying, like, the quote, it don't even correlate. I mean, unless I'm reading the quote wrong, it doesn't correlate. But again, my whole point I was gonna say is this goes back to something that I've said to you guys before. I don't know if I've said on any of the shows, but in group chats for sure, that the problem that I think we have where it's kind of correlates with social media is that everybody is not equipped mentally to speak on certain things and be for lack of a better word, leader, not because they're idiots or anything like that, but they're just not informed enough on that subject to really be in the forefront speaking on it and giving references or trying to break things down, because that's just not their lane. And I think this is one of those situations. And I'm not saying DeSean Jackson is not intelligent or anything like that. I don't know him personally to knock him down like that. But clearly,
University of California, man, Berkeley. You went to Berkeley.
Yeah.
So did Marshawn Lynch.
Like
Beast Mode is my guy.
It doesn't sound like he was well versed enough in the subject to probably be, passing that kind of information out. And I just think he suffers because of that. Not like I say, I'm not saying that he's not intelligent, but on this particular subject, it sounds like he's just uninformed and doesn't know well enough. And I will give a big shout out to Julian Edelman, because Julian Edelman said they had a conversation, and instead of like coming out where I feel like a lot of people will, regardless of whether, even when somebody misspeaks about blacks in situations like this, what people tend to do is attack. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You this, you that, you hate people and all of that. He kind of went at it for more of a educational term, like, you know what I'm saying, let me educate you a little bit. Let me take you to I forget the
museum. Yeah. He said Holocaust Museum or something like that, didn't he?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. Like, take him to a museum. So I applaud him. I applaud him in that situation.
Do y'all think? I probably shouldn't say this as a black man about another black man, but do y'all think DeSean Jackson know like who Hitler is and what he did?
I mean, they teach him history. He did. I don't know. What y'all think about how would y'all compare it the whole blow up, and now him about to go to the Holocaust Museum and being offered that and getting to know actual survivor. I'm guessing that's what's going to take place. How do y'all compare that to the aftermath of what happened with Drew Brees? You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think about?
Like, are you trying to say, like, is DeSean Jackson taking a bigger step to trying to understand it than Drew Brees? Is that what you're asking? Like, who do we think?
Right. Yeah.
Shit, what did Drew Brees do besides make a statement? I don't know. I'm asking.
Well, he made the statement that basically he's always gonna stand for the flag, and he talked about his grandfather was a World War
No,
II.
didn't he come out and I'm talking about his apology after he said all that?
Yeah, he apologized just like DeSean Jackson apologized. DeSean Jackson going to the Holocaust Museum.
No, I'm saying, what did Drew Brees say he would do in his apology is what I'm asking.
I don't know.
I can't hear you, Jay.
He said he's going to try to help the black community, and the same generic answer that pretty much everybody who gets caught saying
right.
That's wrong says. They're going to try to help the community more. They're going to be on the front lines.
Right.
Pretty much, they all say the same thing. Pretty much. I mean, I think the situation is different. Now I disagree with what I don't know what the hell DeSean Jackson was trying to do. Let me just say that up front. But I think the situation is because I feel like Drew Brees' statement was like willful ignorance. Like his was like you were saying, Greg, about you want why didn't DeSean Jackson talk to a Jewish person or do some more research before he retweeted that or tweeted it out or whatever across social media, right? I think Drew Brees, I think the situation is different because like Drew Brees like willfully decided to say, even though Colin Kaepernick told you exactly why he was kneeling, Drew Brees' stance was, I don't care what you say, this is what you mean. Even though Colin Kaepernick said, no. This is why I'm kneeling. Drew Brees decided to say, no. This is what you mean. He tried to tell Colin Kaepernick why he was kneeling. And even though Colin Kaepernick told him in the NFL, by the way, why he was kneeling, I think that's the difference in the situation. Even though they're both like totally wrong.
Right.
So they better never ask me nothing. If I tweet something and people don't like it, I'm gonna just come out and I ain't apologizing. I'm gonna be like my man Steven Jack. I said it and I meant what I said.
Oh,
You take it how you want
he apologized.
it.
he apologized.
but,
Yeah, he went on CNN and apologized because he was.
There's Steven Jackson on CNN.
Yeah.
Oh man, you know what you said in the group chat about they go find anybody?
Say that again, Greg.
I said Steven Jackson apologized for doubling down on his support of DeSean Jackson.
No, I think he's talking about his original statement or something.
Yeah, he apologized. He sure did. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Okay, because I know he was out on his podcast or whatever, and he said, "Man, y'all just mad at DeSean because he's telling the truth."
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
What truth?
Yeah.
Oh, and then here come Matt Boyne talking about y'all need to put some respect on his boy name because he the leader of the black people now. So y'all put some respect on Steven Jackson's name, bro. Exactly. He lead y'all to the promised land.
Yeah. I like Steven Jackson.
This is what Steven Jackson said. He said, as everybody tends to say, I could have changed my words, but it's nothing I said that it's nothing I said that I support any of that. I could have switched it up, but that's the end of it. I know I love everybody, and that's how I always stand.
Oh.
And I'm not going to let anybody demean my character. They can. That's the end of it. They can twist it how they want, but that's exactly what it is. I don't hate nobody. I mean,
who twisted it?
I don't know who twisted it. I don't know who twisted it, man. I'm just telling you. He said he's sorry for his own words, but his comments were being twisted.
And then he gonna call you a sellout because you don't agree with him. Better believe that.
I don't. I mean, I guess he's saying the media and people. And you know, some Jewish people. I read, Greg, you probably know who Mitch Albom is. Malcolm, you might too. I don't know if you do. But Mitch Albom, he used to be on. He used to do what was the name of that ESPN show? The Sports Reporters. He used to be on there, and he's a writer for the Detroit Free. Well, I'm assuming he still writes for the Detroit Free Press. I know his opinion column where he wrote about this was in the Detroit Free Press, and like he took issues with saying this is something Steven Jackson said. He said your racist pain doesn't hurt any more than the next racist pain. Don't act like your hardships are demeaning them or never supported you anyway. Free and he said but Mitch Albom took offense to Steven Jackson saying he don't know nothing about Adolf Hitler and he don't give a bleep about Adolf Hitler. And I don't know.
That's what Steven Jackson said?
Yeah, he said that.
So DeSean Jackson don't know him either. I'm just gonna put that out there.
He might. But this is I was
that culture, like I said, that whole struggle Olympics, oppression Olympics. I'm totally not with that at all. I'm sick. Bro.
Oh, man.
This ain't finna get to all that. Who suffered the most? And I respect Jewish people, and I definitely acknowledge that the Holocaust was real, and they suffered, they endured that. But you know, and of course, with being black and having slavery, pretty certainly in my ancestry. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be sensitive to black people suffering too.
Man,
So
it sounds like you about to say we suffered the most. That's what it sounds like
no,
you said.
I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with acknowledging both and respecting both occurred and happened. You know what I'm saying?
I think
Mhm.
my little short opinion of this is specifically related to my thoughts in general when it comes to like um situations related to like whether your race or your gender or whatever is fighting for right freedom whatever it is your race or I guess in Jewish is kind of a religion and a culture, not specifically a race. um like you have to, I think the people what gets out of line to me is, and this is why you have problems like this, is when people feel like that it's everybody else's responsibility to speak up on behalf of their race, right? And then you want to start calling out other people for not saying anything. Like I think one of the worst things that has gone on in this last month and a half or two since George Floyd's death is, and this is mostly from black people, and there's other races who call out other people, is this theory that if you don't say anything, you agree with what's going on. Or silence is what's the phrase I'm looking for? I can't even think of what it's called. Silence is acceptance. Like I think that's one of the worst things that has come out of this is the silence is acceptance or an agreement movement, right? And this thought that if you're not actively saying something against uh, the struggle of a particular race or a particular gender, and I'm saying gender because the LGBTQ
Q.
community, and I hope I didn't screw that up, community. When you start advocating and saying that people who don't advocate on your behalf are against you, then you run into these situations where like if where Mitch Albom is saying that Stephen Jackson is wrong for not knowing about Adolf Hitler and for not caring about Adolf Hitler because of what Adolf Hitler was responsible for when it comes to Jews and the Holocaust, right? And now Stephen Jackson just a few weeks ago was calling out team owners in professional sports for not saying anything and not being informed, not speaking out on speaking up on behalf of blacks and racial equality and systemic oppression and stuff like that. But then on the other hand, he's saying, I don't know nothing about Hitler and I don't care about Hitler. Well, like Jewish people are going to be offended by that because they're saying like, hey, you just said everybody got to say something. Now you saying you don't care. Which one is it? Do everybody got to say something or not? And
That kind of
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, that kind of goes back to the like. It seems like everybody's wanting Jerry Jones to come out and say something. Like I don't understand why. Like about the George Floyd thing and about the, I guess even they were talking about kneeling now. Like I guess how everybody's vision is changing. And it's like everybody's saying Jerry Jones should speak about it now because he was so strongly about it when Colin Kaepernick first did it. But I don't know why. Even some of his players has called him out, and I don't know why they're seeking for him to speak on the situation. Maybe y'all can help me understand it a little bit, but I don't know why.
I mean, I'm not one of those people who believes that when you have a situation that you feel strongly about, that it requires that you should try to pressure people and make them feel like they have to contribute to your movement. I feel like that you take the people who with you and you make it happen. And so I don't feel like what I'm saying, because and I say that, and obviously it's for personal reasons. Like I'm not going to ask you to get behind my movement and then your movement starts and I don't agree with your movement and then you automatically say, well, you got to get behind mine because I supported yours. I'm like, no, I'm only rolling with what I believe in and what I truly support. And that's how I feel like everybody should feel. Like, so if you're not anti-racist, you shouldn't come out and say that. That I mean,
I
I feel if you're not anti, I
ain't even
don't want you to say that.
so, and I'm like, and there's people that are. I feel like there's people that are indifferent about stuff, and they're being forced to say they're with it or against it, and I don't think that's fair either. Because, like, I just like the Black Lives Matter thing, right? So there could be somebody that's not against it, but they don't really know nothing about it, so they're not for it either. But then they're forced to come out and say, "Yeah, I'm with Black Lives Matter," if that makes sense.
Or people gonna look down on. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. People gonna look down on you because you don't come out against it. And
Yeah,
yeah, I know, Greg. I know you want to get some, but one last thing I want to say is silence does not equal acceptance. That is, those are two totally different things. They do not equal acceptance, and I say that because everybody internally is built differently. So everybody is not comfortable expressing their feelings outwardly. Everybody is not comfortable getting out marching. Everybody is not comfortable protesting. Everybody is not comfortable speaking out against something that they don't agree with, right? So just because somebody doesn't say something, that does not mean that they are accepting that situation as right or they're saying that it's wrong. They just may not be comfortable speaking on it.
I don't know. I mean, uh, it's almost like y'all saying y'all having it both ways because it's like if you first of all, if you acknowledge that something is wrong, um, and concede that it's wrong, why? I mean, I don't know. Like, how long are you supposed to just let the wrong go on?
But that's the point.
I'm not saying like they were right or wrong.
Especially if you see, I mean, it's different if you don't think anything wrong is going on.
Yeah,
I
That's
wouldn't
what we're
expect.
saying.
I would expect that person shouldn't say nothing there. They don't see nothing wrong. They truly don't see it. But if a person acknowledges and sees something is wrong, and they don't, I understand, and I understand the notion of not feeling comfortable about maybe confronting someone or speaking up or advocating on somebody when it's really not your business. But at the same time, how long are you supposed to let that go on, especially in a situation where you see somebody as being oppressed or is really suffering?
I
You
would
know?
I paint it to you like this to something that I think you could probably identify with, actually probably way better than I can. But like the whole the um the law or whatever they passed to protect whistleblowers, right? Because in a lot of companies where people see others being treated wrong, whether it's like a company overcharging people regularly or like discriminating on people based on race or whatever, and you're within that company and you know that it's happening, a lot of people want to speak up because of fear of blowback. Not that they don't think that it's wrong, but they fear of blowback, and they don't have within them personally, not that it's wrong or anything, but within them personally, they can't deal with the
Right.
the potential blowback that comes with it, whether they get fired or whether people just
Right.
treat them differently. They can't deal with that, so they just don't say nothing, right?
Yeah.
And in what I'm thinking is like there's people out there like that, and then there's also people like you said who just don't think whatever's going on is wrong. But I think there's
Right.
also people who they just can't deal with any
Yeah.
the backlash that would come with them saying, yeah, you know what, I think black people or
And I think our society lends itself to show that you're not going to get the support and help you would need to withstand backlash when trying to do what's right. You know what I'm saying? You just kind of just out there, on your own. So yeah, I get it, but let me put, I guess, a bit of a variable on it. What if you see wrong, you see it going on. You're not the wrongdoer per se, but you are benefiting. Do you think that person has an obligation to say something?
I personally never I don't necessarily believe in saying something like that you have an obligation. I would say I would prefer that you speak up, but if
Right,
you don't, then you don't.
right,
But then again, at the same time, I would say if something like that happens to you, don't get mad if nobody else speaks up.
right, right. That's true.
I'm just
Yeah,
that's how I view it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I got a question. So I seen an article about it. Like they were saying, like people are not as mad at DeSean Jackson about his tweets as like what other people say, like against Black Lives Matter or whatever. Do y'all think that's a valid point or no? Like, should we be all as mad about what DeSean Jackson said is about all these other issues that's going around?
Um, do
I
you
honestly never even thought about it. To be honest, I haven't thought about it. I mean, I've seen what you're talking about, Malcolm, but I haven't thought about it because I am of the opinion that if you don't feel a certain way, you shouldn't have to feel a certain way. I mean, that's you know what I'm saying. That's how I view it. Like, so, like, if people don't want to be upset about police brutality, they don't have to. If you don't want to be upset about what DeSean Jackson tweeted, you don't have to be upset.
right, right. Yeah, I
Mm.
think DeSean Jackson, he'll be out the news cycle real soon.
Yeah, he
You know,
will be.
we'll see. We'll see if he even, if he even makes the team or
He
what
gonna,
happens.
he gonna be out the news soon, especially with with people starting to catch up with what's going on inside these bubbles for the NBA and the WNBA.
Right.
That-
So you
Hey,
seen when I first seen the pictures of the WNBA lodging and the food, bro, I went to Disney 2 summers ago, bro, and I ain't wealthy by no means, man. We stayed in Animal Kingdom. It was nice. We went to a little restaurant there. The food was good. Like I'm like, they not eating Disney food. They be getting them with the bologna sandwiches, bro. Them were looking like prison cards, prison trays. I was like, what they feeding the people? Then they
so
had like
how many
whole
leagues down there? You got the MLS down there.
sex and everything in the room. You see the pictures of the WNBA? They had like a bug
I
crawl.
haven't seen nothing. I haven't seen
Oh,
nothing.
man, it was bad. And then see, like Rondo posted something. He like, oh man, they got us in the Motel 6. I was like, Rondo, your ass too rich, man. They don't let
He
no
ain't
damn
in right.
shit.
He ain't in no Motel 6. The Lakers got one of the finest hotels out there, didn't they?
It was not a Motel 6, bro. Picture he posted was damn hardwood floors with patterns in them and every queen size bed, bro. He was tripping. But the
But so
WNBA picture I seen for the WNBA, that's bad, bro. Real bad.
I, what's all down there? So WNBA is down there, NBA is down there,
I
Major League Soccer is down there.
don't know if they're in the same areas though.
I know. I'm just saying, like in Orlando, they all in Orlando, ain't they?
The city of Orlando ain't that big.
Yeah, I know. I know. The soccer's in Orlando too. So
Yeah.
they all. I'm just trying to figure out.
And they just opened Disney back up.
So
And they were,
how are they in a bubble?
WNBA is not in Orlando.
Oh, I didn't know. That's why I was asking.
They are in. I
but
don't
I
even.
know the NBA are playing their games at the Worldwide Sports Center, the ESPN.
MLS is too. The MLS is too.
Okay, so that's in Orlando. But they were saying, I think, well, the ESPN is a Disney company anyway. It's all the same deal. But I think they're lodging. They're staying at some Disney resorts. I either heard on a report. I don't think I read it. I think I heard they were saying that one proposed idea was like, so now you got people coming back to Disney and staying in these resorts. They're going to actually like section off a part of the resort to say, okay, well, you can't go past this area because that's NBA lodging. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, they ain't have no better idea than that.
They got different areas.
Because we still trying to figure out whether it's airborne and how long it stay in the air and it travel and like you said, is there really a bubble?
I think they're. I mean, I think it's a bubble in terms of like controlling access into that area. That's what I think they mean in terms of bubble.
Because I was thinking. I guess I don't follow. Yeah, I guess I don't follow MLS enough because I didn't even know they was going down there. But I thought it was just gonna be the NBA and that was it, like in that entire area. And that goes back to the argument we was having a few weeks ago about the NFL having a bubble. Because that's my interpretation of a bubble. It's like it's them and them only, no access for anybody else.
I don't think they're not in the same area. They might be on the same property.
Right.
They
Yeah.
But I guess what I was thinking in my head was like the world, whatever it's called, that where the NBA is at. I thought they were going to be the only ones that had access to that entire location.
Yeah,
So,
think that.
that's what
but
it
it
is.
don't seem like that's what it is though.
But I'm telling you, that's what it is. Like they're not in the same area as MLS and NBA are not sharing the same bubble space. That's what
But aren't they on the same property?
that don't mean nothing just because you're on the same. They're on the same like resort kind of thing. The Walt Disney, that thing in Florida is like ginormous.
I've never been, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's giant. They got buses that
Okay.
take you around and like you know what I'm saying. Like you can get on a bus and go. They got different hotels spread out. It's all. I mean, it's like a ginormous. Like you
Gotcha.
could like in different places. Yeah, so they ain't all on the same, but.
Yeah, I mean it's a huge spot. You know, it's dope. But I mean, like I said, when I seen the pictures of that food, bro, for the WNBA and that lodging, I know Orlando got better than that to offer, man.
I mean, but we got to keep it a bean.
I was about to say, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, man.
No, I was finna switch topics. Go ahead.
I thought you was gonna talk about their money, LJ. You talking about WNBA and they budget and what they can do.
I'm just gonna say, like, it's not. I don't think the NBA to the WNBA is a good comparison. Like, I just think that's.
Yeah, and I don't mean to do that.
No,
I'm comparing them to me. And when I went to Disney, you know.
I'm not talking about you, but I'm just saying, like, I see it a lot on like Twitter. They saying, well, how can the WNBA?
It's hard to do that. It's hard to do that.
The WNBA. I mean, the NBA, like, what the revenue that they bring in every year is like 7.4 billion versus 60 million in the WNBA. The average salary in the NBA is like 6.4 million. The average salary in the WNBA is like 70.
Yeah.
The highest paid player in the NBA.
So ratings, the TV, the endorsements, the financial back just is different. You can't compare apples and oranges, man. It's kind of tough when people try to do that.
Saying like they almost people like making it seem like they discriminating on the WNBA. It's like, no, you got two separate leagues. Like the WNBA.
I don't follow soccer, but I know definitely the women's soccer team and that's international play. They definitely better than the men's team as far as what they produce on the field and their victories and whatnot. But
men teams pretty decent.
No, not like the women, man. Come on, man. It's not even close. We dominate women's soccer, like in the world.
Yeah, we do. I'm just saying we're competitive. We're not at the bottom of the barrel.
They close. I mean,
that's like comparing apples and oranges. But I bring that up because I wonder how much money the women's team is bringing in comparison to the men's team. You know what I'm saying? My problem. Huh?
You talking about at the Olympic level?
Yeah, for the national team, you know what I'm saying, and the endorsements and the funding they bring in.
I think now the women's team was bringing in more money.
Yeah, so they have a bigger gripe than what I would say like the WNBA NBA thing. And again, this international team clause is much different, but they can make those kind of arguments a bit better than what the WNBA can, because it's just not the same. But they should be on the sandwiches, bro. I'm not rich by no means. We ate good at Disney, bro, and we did it for an affordable amount of money because I'm pretty frugal too.
You also have to consider, like, you were there for maybe I'm just gonna say an average
week.
Probably a week.
About a week. Yeah, about a week.
Right? But you got to think I don't know. I think the WNBA, I feel like their season's only going to be like 20 games, and then they got to playoff. They're budgeting for an extended period of time.
They play at least 3 games a week, bro. That's 6, 7 weeks.
I know,
2 weeks.
But you're talking about planning in a
how much money,
a week's period of time versus maybe they're planning over the course of 4 months. And if your operating budget ain't huge over the course of 4 months,
3 months a year.
Steak and lobster and shrimp every night because the budget.
I wouldn't steak and lobster, man. I'm not making steak and lobster arguments.
No,
I'm making fish sticks and chicken nugget arguments, man. Them folks had bologna sandwiches, bro.
They don't want fish sticks. They trying to eat. I'm just. I mean, I don't know.
They look like, you ought to Google the pictures. They look like some struggle players, man. If that was really what they was offering them folks, man, that's just bad.
Like,
It's
I
just
would
bad.
ask a WNBA player, like, are they losing any money? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think some of those franchises are. I mean, they cut teams.
no. I'm not talking about the franchise. I mean, I'm talking about like as individual players. Like, if you go live in the bubble, are they saying, all right, well, normally your salary is $70K, but since we living in the bubble,
I'm sure they. I mean, I don't know. That's probably a collective bargaining. You know what I'm saying? Like just like in baseball, that whole owners versus you know what I'm saying players type deal. And I don't and I don't follow the WNBA that closely, but I don't hear that kind of noise or that kind of strike. So I don't think they're being shortchanged on what they were being paid. But maybe they can. I mean, and that's just a day. I was gonna say because I guess they can make the argument. Oh, but shit, I could be making more money playing overseas, and it's kind of like, well, just go overseas. You know what I'm saying? It's tough. It's tough.
So I want to ask y'all a quick question. It's kind of off topic. With the conference, like with college football and the conferences saying they might play like conference only games,
Right.
how do they determine who, like, how would it affect the college football playoffs? Because most of the time it's based off strength of schedule, right?
Yeah.
But if you're going to do only conference games, you can't knock anybody for beating their conference.
Taking it back to the 1960s, back to the illusory national championship game. But now, I mean, I guess you got more analytical data and computers and committees and whatever. You know, these people making these decisions. But yeah, you don't have a conference. You know, you don't have a real parameter. No off, no out of conference play. It's gonna be mythical.
So do you think they're gonna expand the playoffs? Because there's four spots, right, for the college football playoff, correct? But there's five Power 5 conferences, correct?
Yep.
Right.
So let's say, for the sake of argument, let's say one team out of each conference goes undefeated. How you determine who gets left out?
Right. That's a good point.
You on mute, LJ.
Yeah, I know.
That particular scenario happens all the time already. You know
No. Because you have in any other season you can go based off strength of schedule, right? But this particular season you're not gonna be able to.
I think you will.
You still can base off strength of schedule and who they play. You can base off win totals, performances in certain games. You're still gonna have some of that go on. There's always odd man out, even with the current system in place.
I honestly think you will get a better barometer of the quality of teams in the playoffs this year than you will in the past, because the games that those teams are eliminating are generally against teams they probably weren't going to lose against anyways. They were like
that was the big schools.
No. If you go look at the a lot of the games,
those September games, those early games at the Cowboy Stadium, but
you're talking about few and far between. You're not talking about a ton. Like
Ohio
State, they're out of conference games. They weren't playing like if they.
I agree with that. I agree with that. You're not missing Alabama versus Cincinnati or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You're not missing.
No, I ain't talking about that one, but
that's what I'm saying. Like most games that you're gonna lose out on were games that were probably going to be won by the Power 5 conference team anyways.
I get it, but there's always, I would say probably 6 or 7 games a year that has an immediate, like a direct impact on college football. Like, so I'll just give you one because the one I know of, I was planning on going. It was Tennessee, Oklahoma, right? You're not going to get that game now because.
But that's my point. Is you're talking about a quick example. Even with the traditional rivalries, you're not going to get USC and Notre Dame anymore, right? No, they say Notre Dame is playing
good anyways. They're not in the national championship picture.
Who?
Or were they? Maybe.
Notre
But
Dame, Notre Dame could be. USC not so much, but they usually play those games pretty close.
it
Right.
affects Notre Dame. But my point is like Malcolm, you say you're bringing up one game, right? And I'm not
That's
saying
the only one I can think of off the top of my head. That's why I said
no.
that.
I'm not saying that you're not right about like some of those games will be missed. But what I'm saying is most of those schools that are generally in contention, that are usually going to be in contention for the national championships, their toughest games are inside of their conference, right? If you go look at the schedules, a lot of the games that are getting
Depends on the conference.
the SEC, their toughest
Yeah, I'll play.
be inside the conference. The Pac-12, their toughest game is going to be inside. I mean, because just think about it, right? If you're scheduling if you think about like the Pac-12, most they're going to play probably like 8 or 9 conference games. So the team they're not going out of their conference to play 3 super tough games.
No, not 3, but the Pac-12 usually has to play at least 1 to get that respect from everybody else, right? And to really get the TV time, because most of the time they play at our time, 9, 10 o'clock at night. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of times they come out this way to 1, get the national exposure, and 2, to kind of get that respect. Like if they come out here and beat Auburn or beat a Texas or whatever, to kind of bump themselves up in the rankings, because for the past probably since the Reggie Bush in them days, the Pac-12 hadn't really been getting that love. I mean, Oregon has, but other than that.
But that's what I'm saying. But you're talking about like 1 game out of a 12 or 13 game schedule.
But it matters in college football. That 1 game matters. You know what I'm saying? If you lose more than 1 game in college football, you probably not going.
I agree. 1 game matters, but what I'm saying is, go look at the schedules of the 15 teams that you would say generally are in there every year. Their toughest games are within their conference, right?
Yeah.
Clemson ain't going to play like it's not like they were going to go play I don't know what their non-conference schedule. And actually, the ACC hasn't said they were going to do that. It's really only the Big Ten and the Pac-12 that have said that. So let's go.
I thought the ACC came out and said they was
I think the ACC came out and said they're going to follow suit. It's really the Big 12, SEC. No, I'm saying teams that the conference that hadn't came out and said it. Big 12, SEC, and I guess it's just if we talking about Power 5 conferences, that's it.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, if you just go and look at the amount of so you're talking. And I haven't done this for every team, right? But who was Ohio State going to play outside of their conference? It was like 2 or 3 games, right? Even if you're in the SEC and let's say you lose that 1 tough game outside of your non-conference, you're still probably going to have to play Alabama, still probably going to have to play Georgia, still probably going to have to play LSU, and you still probably going to have to play a team like Florida, who sometimes they're ranked, sometimes they're not. So your in-conference schedule is quality enough that is really going to make or break you more so than 1 game. Now, if you're like an outlier school that isn't very good, I mean, that, maybe you play a bunch of pancake teams and you don't have a good conference, then yes, that 1 non-conference game
so
make or break you. But like Ohio State, they still got to play Michigan. They still got to play Michigan State.
Wisconsin, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I guess we're saying the same thing, but a different way, because I'm saying you have the SEC, you have the Big Ten, that from not top to bottom, but at least, top 7, top 8 teams are pretty competitive, right? But then you get to the Pac-12, nobody's really looking for Washington State. They have a year where they may be good and they'll go 6 years without being good. You know what I'm saying? Or Oregon State, all these teams, teams that don't really give people a game. And then that allows the Oregon or the Stanford or the USC to like run through their schedule, because I would assume now you're going to play every team in your conference versus when you didn't always used to. You know what I'm saying? Because they were split. So I feel like it hurts. Like, how are they going to decipher that if you have a 2-loss Georgia or a 2-loss LSU or 3, maybe even 3 losses versus a 1-loss Stanford. You know what I'm saying? Something like that is what I'm saying. What?
I mean, if that was determinant, because my point is, like, even if you say, like, Yeah, Stanford was going to run the table, and they only lose one game. My point is,
Okay, if they go undefeated, let's say they go undefeated, right?
yeah,
And their conference is not that great, but then you have this one loss Georgia sitting there, or two loss, Ohio State or something like that, that played a much tougher conference. Are you gonna knock Pac-12 or like knock Stanford for they can't help that their conference was terrible? You know what I'm saying?
they
Or,
never
or huh?
unless you're like they don't. I don't recall a situation where they've done that to a Power Five team.
What?
If you're in a Power Five conference and you're undefeated, you're generally gonna get in. Now, if you're like,
I don't think it wasn't undefeated, but I want to say Utah. Utah had the same record as somebody.
Utah's not in the Power Five conference, are they?
Yes,
They're
they
in
are.
Pac-12. They're
Well,
in Pac-12.
then the Pac-
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? I want to say they had a better record than. I want to say it was this year. Who slid in the fourth spot this year? Was it Ohio State? No, they was up there.
it was Clemson, Oklahoma was in there.
Was Oklahoma the fourth seed?
It was Oklahoma. Oklahoma that got 'em.
Yeah, they put Oklahoma in over Utah, and I think Utah had a better record.
I think it was didn't Utah lost that conference championship game though, right?
They didn't win their conference.
I think that. Yeah, I think
Oh
that.
no! I take that back. They were talking about the scenario that if Utah won their conference championship, they probably still wouldn't get in. I'm sorry, that's what happened. But they didn't win it, so it didn't matter.
But then again, you would still go back to the strength of schedule. And again, like I said, I would argue that even if you added those non-conference, what was Utah probably missing? Even if you add the non-conference games,
I think they played Texas.
Yeah,
Did they play Texas?
wasn't good.
I think somebody always is left out. I don't think that's going to be anything different
Yeah, there's no problem.
than has been happening in the past. But I mean,
All I'm saying is like you can penalize the team for the strength of schedule in other years because you have the option of who you play. You know what I'm saying? You have the choice of who you play. But if you do it this year, you don't. You're forced to play your conference, and you can't knock one team's conference for being trash.
But that's not it's not necessarily true.
I mean, I know the schools got to get contracts and agree and all that stuff.
No,
but
what I mean by it's not necessarily true, meaning like if let's say like who's a team that's been really or let's go to Oregon, right? When Chip Kelly was there, Oregon was like the lick, right? So if you scheduled Oregon, let's say like I don't know, let's say like if you scheduled to play Oregon like last year and the year before, but you scheduled it during the time when Chip Kelly was there. When
yeah, it was there.
good.
I got you. That's what I'm saying. I get that most of these non-conference games are made, at least probably 2 or 3 years in advance. But that's all I was saying. Like, how would they decipher it? That you're just because the conferences and stuff like that, you have to play your conference. That's all I was saying.
yeah. All right, we're gonna wrap it up, Malcolm.
All right, man. Y'all can find us on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. Hit that subscribe button if you see us on YouTube. Sports Crew. We out.
All right, peace.